On January 10th, 1986, a military operation began on the slopes of the Guazapa volcano in El Salvador. It was called Operation Phoenix. For 10 continuous days, the Salvadoran Army, aided by United States advisors, bombed and strafed the countryside. During this operation, government troops killed 22 civilians and captured or disappeared 213 others. The Army also burned 22 villages, displacing 2,000 people. Like the scorched earth tactics used in Vietnam, Operation Phoenix destroyed all homes, fields, and livestock. Nothing remained which could sustain life. This attack was part of a strategy which continues today throughout El Salvador. Its purpose is to remove the civilian population from the countryside and keep the guerrillas from having contact with them.
Have you read the book by Mao Zedong? The fish without the water will die. The gorilla, without the support of the population, will also die.
The survivors of Operation Phoenix were taken to refugee camps in San Salvador. A number of them wanted to return to rebuild their destroyed homes and fields in defiance of the government. They asked for an international presence to guarantee their safety. 6 months after Operation Phoenix, I joined a delegation of 19 North Americans who went to El Salvador. We were to accompany 450 displaced members of a farming cooperative located near the bombed-out town of Aguacayo. They believed that our presence would keep the Salvadoran military from shooting or arresting them. We had no idea what we would be getting into.
Besides that, they have killed 2 of my sons, 1 daughter-in-law, 1 grandchild. They were all killed by the army. We are not here out of free will, but as a direct consequence of the repression of the armed forces. We have no desire to continue here. We want to go back to cultivate the land, to see if we can have a better life, not to live just waiting as we are doing here. It is only for the goodwill of other nations that we have not yet died from hunger or from the repression of this war.
We immediately felt solidarity with their struggle to reclaim their land. Their hope and courage was contagious.
Esta vez, el martes, con nosotros. Muy bien. He will be going with us on Tuesday.
Good.
It was hard to think some people would be staying behind.
I won't be able to go this time because I have a son in Mariona prison.
Este pueblo transformado y allá vive libertad en El Salvador.
No one can separate us from that land, because that land saw you being born and watched you growing up, that land which God has given you. This land and this place which is yours, you're going to go back and live there, and God will live there with you. And there will be tests, and perhaps some will suffer more than others. It is a test to see up to what point the people want to continue searching for this liberation, searching for this justice and this brotherhood for everyone.
We are all one heart and one feeling now. We are going with this faith and this greatness. You told us, Lord, that there is a promised land for your people after so much spilled blood. We are reclaiming this land for you, eternal Father, and for your beloved Son.
Concédenos lo que te estamos pidiendo y que todo ello sea para tu gloria y para hacer tu reino de paz, de justicia, de libertad, de amor. Te lo pedimos y te lo ofrecemos por Jesucristo nuestro Señor.
No te le pego.
3 days after we arrived, 450 people from camps around the capital gathered their few belongings, said goodbye to their friends, and started an uncertain journey back to their land. In the Plaza de Libertad, they boarded 10 rented buses.
Put 4 people on each bus.
The delegates got on different buses so we could offer the people protection in case they were stopped by government troops.
Though the bombs may always threaten and the soldier holds a gun, we have come to plant a garden and our freedom has begun. Crossing through the lines of terror where the checkpoint army stands, come 450 people in a bannered caravan.
When we arrived in the town of Aguacayo, 2 miles from El Bario, the farming cooperative that was our final destination, we were met by soldiers. They told us that we didn't have permission to be in a zone of conflict. The road was mined, and that meant we couldn't go any farther. We couldn't help but wonder if all of our efforts had been for nothing.
Como salvadoreños, como ciudadanos, tenemos todo el derecho de retornar a nuestros lugares y trabajar nuestras propias tierras.
All Salvadorans, we are all citizens, and we have every right to return to our homes and work our land. Don't despair. Don't be afraid. We aren't alone. We are all one people. We are all Christians, and we're among brothers and sisters. We can count on international support, and we also have the press with us, so that if something should happen to us, they'll see it. We've lived through 7 years of war. We've lived through very difficult moments. So now, why can't we stay here for 4 or 5 days? If the armed forces say they're going to provide security, let's not be afraid of them anymore. Let's tell them what we want, what our life has been in the refugee camps, and that we don't want to live as refugees anymore. We want to work on our land to be able to support our families, and this is the only thing we want. We haven't come here to fight with anyone, but only to start up our cooperative once again and work like all Salvadorans, which we are.
Y trabajar como todos salvadoreños que somos, ¿sí o no? ¡Sí! ¡Que viva el pueblo salvadoreño!
We decided to camp in Aguacayo until the road could be checked for mines.
Goodbye to sheltered camps of pity near the town. This life is blooming with the courage of the child who holds the family rooster and plays among the ruins, with healing scars along her arms from when the cornfields burned.
The next morning, Lieutenant Colonel Carranza arrived with his troops. Despite our faith and determination to reach El Bario, it seemed the soldiers were not giving in. The same soldiers who forced these people from their homes now asked them to identify their male relatives.
¿Papá cómo se llama?
El papá de él se llama Edilberto.
No aguanta la varilla, se dobla.
El Señor es mi pastor, nada me falta. En verdes pastos Él me hace reposar. Y donde brota agua fresca me conduce.
More troops arrived, carried to trucks, and driven to a police station in the nearby town of Suchitoto. Two representatives of the United States Embassy in San Salvador were flown in by helicopters to convince us to go back to the capital. A vote was taken among the delegates to see who would remain here, close to the people in Aguacayo. The rest of us would go to San Salvador and ask the military for permission to continue our journey. A phone call came from the U.S. Embassy. Ambassador Edwin Corr ordered all of us to be taken to police headquarters in San Salvador. Despite our best efforts to return to the people we left behind, there was no compromising with the officials. The following day, we were deported to Guatemala, where the press was waiting for us.
Aguacayo was a stop along the way, where the rifle took protecting friends away. But struggle wears a simple dress and sights with human words. Let us join our arms in prayer and plow the precious earth.
International pressure resulting from the publicity about our arrest and deportation prevented the Salvadoran military from harming the people we had left behind in Aguacayo. They were allowed to return to their land and rebuild their homes. A few months later, we received a letter from El Bario.
Dear brothers and sisters, you can't imagine how often we remember those very difficult moments you spent with us in Aguacayo. Thanks to your help, we were able to return to our homes. We have now constructed a health center and a school and made preparations to bring water to the community. We have planted corn, rice, beans, sesame, peanuts, and vegetable gardens. In spite of difficulties, we are very happy here. We will never forget you. We admire your capacity to love us. We know that though you are far away, you continue to struggle to bring peace to our poor country.
Llega con las estrellas, Antonio abre sus oídos, despierta viejo román, que se han marchado tus hijos, se fueron por las montañas, buscando libre al Barillo, para cuando volverán, donde anda mi cipotillo. ¿Dónde andará mi cipote en esta noche sin luna? Metido entre los breñales, me lo guardé la fortuna. Mañana habré de abrazar los maizales florecidos, aun cuando la noche oscura encuentre a mi hijo dormido.